Well, a major blow to the Biden administration and its immigration plan. A federal judge barring the U.S. government from enforcing President Biden's 100-day deportation ban. He says the new administration has, quote, failed to provide any concrete, reasonable justification for a 100-day pause on deportations. I want to bring in Democratic strategist Kevin Walling and Republican strategist Ford O'Connell. Guys, good morning.
Hey, Cheryl, good morning.
Good morning.
Ford, I want to start with you on this because this, again, is Texas, a border state. And this is Ken Paxton, who, frankly, we've been dealing with illegal immigration through the Texas border in particular for 20 years. Your reaction to his success in the court yesterday?
Well, good for Ken Paxton, because I have to say, of the record-breaking number of Biden executive orders, this one was, without question, one of the most reckless, because essentially you're putting Americans at risk just so the Democratic Party can appease the gods of illegal immigration within that party. That said, here's the deal. I'm not sure you can put the genie back in the bottle, because the message is out south of the border that if you come to America, you won't be deported, you might even get the vaccine, and you may even be lucky enough to be amnestied. It's absolutely a tragedy what's happening at the border, thanks to the Biden administration.
And Kevin, to that point, we've got two caravans now coming, migrant caravans from Central America, because they think that the border is now open. I'm not sure how you're going to COVID test all of them, but my point really is that this has been 20 years in the making with illegal immigration through the southern border. George W. Bush had a plan, but then 9/11 happened. President Obama used executive orders, and it really didn't do anything. And then, of course, President Trump wanted the wall. How is President Biden's plan any different from the failings we've seen over the last 2 decades?
Yeah, Cheryl, it's a good question. I think this is why the Biden administration is pushing so hard for comprehensive immigration reform, something similar to what we saw pass the U.S. Senate back in 2013, shepherded in by folks like Marco Rubio at the time, because we need some consistency when it comes to our border policy, and it can't be something that just changes every 4 years with a different administration. So I think what you're going to see is a refocus on immigration. This order was to set a moratorium over the next 100 days so that the incoming administration could get a handle on our policies and refocus our policies on the most important aspects of immigration in terms of cracking down on criminal migration, criminals in this country. So again, we'll see as the process plays out and as this case moves up through the federal judiciary.
Yeah, but Kevin, just really quick, just to put a point on what you just said here, we've had open borders in the past under other administrations, in particular President Obama, and all we ended up with was a lot of crime and deterioration to border communities. But I do need to move on, though. I got to ask you guys about impeachment. Most Senate Republicans questioning the Senate's authority to hold this trial for a former president. They signaled conviction is unlikely now. You had Senator Rand Paul. He spoke last night with Maria on Fox News Primetime. Listen.
We put forward a motion that said that basically you can't impeach a private individual. You can impeach a president, but this is why the Chief Justice didn't show up. If it was the president, the Chief Justice shows up. The fact that the Chief Justice wouldn't come and refused to come means that this is a private citizen, but the Constitution doesn't allow for impeachment of a private citizen. So we put this issue forward, but the most important takeaway from the issue is they don't have the votes to convict. We had 45 people, 45 Republican senators say that the whole charade is unconstitutional. So what does that mean? It means that impeachment, the trial, is dead on arrival.
Kevin, this is a blow to Democrats thanks to this vote last night that Rand Paul was just talking about. I mean, do you think now the Democrats in the Senate are going to shift their attention elsewhere and move past this impeachment issue?
Yeah, sure. It may be a blow, but again, Democrats are campaigning and standing on what they believe to be right in terms of this impeachment, regardless of the stranglehold that President Trump still has on his party and those Republican senators who are fearful of bucking anything that he has said and done in the wake of that insurrection that we saw on January 6th. So Democrats are moving forward with this, confident that they can make the case to the American people, and we'll let the chips lay where they are.
I just did the math. Me, I'm a business person. I just don't think the math is there, Kevin.
No, it's tough. It's exactly right. It's an uphill battle for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to move on forward with you. I got to get to what's happening with technology and censorship, because Google is going to extend the suspension of former President Trump's YouTube channel. They say it's ongoing concerns about the potential for violence. Ford. And then you've got Oregon Congresswoman Kathy McMorris Rogers. She says big tech accountability. This is the new platform. She says Republicans have to work with Democrats and agree to go after big tech. What do you say?
Well, I definitely think that we need to work together, but I think that the Democrats like the fact that big tech is suppressing Republicans. And I think that the suppression of free expression is flat out un-American. But it's also laughable that Google seems to be concerned about violence, because if that was the case, they'd suppress the Ayatollah in Iran and the Chinese Communist Party for the stuff that they throw around the internet. Here's the reason why Google's doing this, and that is to curry favor with the Biden administration and congressional Democrats, because they're in charge. They're more concerned about making sure the Democrats don't mess with their business practices and making sure that they make enough green. They're not really concerned with even-handedness or upholding the principles of free expression.
For example, just going after Parler, which we're going to talk about later in the show. Ford O'Connell, Kevin Walling, great to see you both. Thank you, guys.
Cheryl, good to be with you.
Yeah, all right. Have a good morning.
Thank you, Cheryl.